Hello and welcome back to the Sikhcast. My name is Manpreet Singh. Thank you for joining us again. We are back with Shabad of the Week. Today I have once again Inni Kaur with me. Thank you for joining us again, Inni Kaur.
You're welcome, Guru Fateh Manpreet, and Guru Fateh to your listeners.
Guru Fateh. And today's Shabad of the Week is Your Naam is the merchandise and the trade indeed. So without further ado, let's get into it.
This Shabad is by Guru Nanak Sahib, and it is in Gauri Bairagan Rag. It is on page 157 of the Guru Granth Sahib. And before I go into the Shabad, I just want you to have one piece of information that this entire Shabad is filled with symbolisms and metaphors and things of that nature. So think about that as you're listening to it in that light. And the rag, which is it is sung in, it is the rag of an empty sadness. This is the sadness of a separation, of a longing, but it's not a sadness that invokes depression because there's hope and there is also the possibility. So while there is that sadness, it's not depression, which is different. Depression is different from sadness. So here we go. Here's the transcreation of the Shabad. If I were to become a doe, dwelling in the forest, picking and eating grass and plants, if I were to meet husband divine by Guru's grace, I would continuously adore you, O breath of breath, O life of life. I am a trader of the charmer divine. Your naam is the merchandise and the trade indeed. Reflect. Rahau line. If I were to become a koel, dwelling on a mango tree, I would reflect intuitively on Shabad. If I were to meet my husband divine naturally and intuitively, I would see the vision and the form of the infinite. If I were to become a fish, dwelling in the water divine, I would be in the domain of the One who takes care of all life forms. I would meet my husband divine with open arms, who dwells all around. If I were to become a serpent, dwelling in the ground, I would become fear-free as Shabad dwells within. Those whose light merges with the light become bright lovers forever. So, the metaphors and the symbolisms which are being used they're quite incredible. Now, like the deer lives in the forest and nourishes itself with whatever vegetation is available. She's just content and happy living like that. And it's in that spirit that I too want to live my life, in that carefreeness. And then living like that by grace, I know grace will happen. And when I am graced, I will meet the husband divine, Saho. And then I would be surrendering continuously to this breath of breath, this life of life. So it is that. And then the Rahau line is, I am the trader of the charmer divine. Charmer divine, I have translated Ram as charmer divine, because Ram is the one who's dyed in that color, and it's that attribute of the divine that is deeply dyed in love and has a very pleasing and a charming quality to it. So I have used charmer divine for that. And then your name, I'm a trader of the charmer divine, and your naam, your essence, your color is what I yearn to trade in. I want to be dyed in that color. I want to be imbued in that color. To that, and that's for how the main line. I am the trader. I want to be just trading in this color, in this love. And then we come to the second one. I've kept the word koel. Now, koel is a cuckoo bird. And, the koel in South Asian literature, um, the mango tree symbolizes eternal love. And the relationship between the mango tree, which is laden with blossoms, and the koel is that of a lover and the beloved. So now let's look at that once you know what that symbolism is. Now the koel loves the mango tree. She dwells there. That's her first choice. She wants to sing there and she wants to be intoxicated with that beauty, of that fragrance. It's a natural high for her to be in that state. It's natural. So here it is. If I become a lover of the beloved, of my beloved, then what would happen? Then the Shabad would flow effortlessly within me. And in that effortlessness, in that natural state, I would meet my husband divine. And I would have the darshan. We've spoken about darshan. I would envision the visible form. I would be able to experience that. That's the relationship between the lover and the beloved. Then we come to the fish. Now, if I were to become a fish, I want to live in that ocean, that divine ocean. So it's that vastness. The ocean is the creation, is the creator. And in this ocean, there are all other lives. They're all being nourished by the one who cares for all of them. I am just one of them. I'm not special. I'm just like anyone else. I recognize that. And then that ego is not there anymore, because that recognition that I am like everyone else, that is being nourished by that one. And in that egoless state of mind, I would meet my husband divine. The one, which husband divine? The one who is pervading everywhere. And it's that fish that when she flows in that wisdom, that one, that one is that caretaker. There's that total acceptance. In that total surrender, she meets the one. And then it is, if I were to become a serpent, the serpent hides. And when does she come out? She comes out the minute she hears the charmer, the snake charmer, with the music of the flute. It's the sound, it's the music of the flute that draws her out and intoxicates her, and she becomes carefree, and she surrenders herself completely to that music. That music becomes a part of her, like the Shabad has become a part of you. She becomes carefree, and that Shabad becomes part of her. That music becomes part of her. And then what happens? That last line, so powerful. Then it's that ultimate. It's those whose light merges with the light. They become Sohaganans. But they are the Sada Sohagans. And we've spoken about the state of Sohagans, what Sohagans mean. It's that consciousness where you have experienced that oneness. And when you experience that oneness, then that's your joy. You're in that state of joyousness, and everything is just fulfilled. And it's like the state of that I dwell in Shabad and Shabad dwells in me. And it is that Sada Sohagan stage, is that forever stage, that eternal stage where you've experienced the oneness. There's a great deal of symbolism of behavior in this Shabad. In Indian culture and even in other cultures, many times animals have been used with with a negative association, a connotation. Now, if we take in the case of the deer or the doe, in Hindu mythology, it's the deer that enchanted Sita, which led her to being abducted. So it's not being looked at very favorably. And then we have the serpent, which is always used for illusion and Maya. But here, Guru uses all the animal symbolisms in a very positive light. The negativity of these animals is not even looked at. Here in the Shabad, it is like the animals, not like, it is the animals too are longing to be united with their creator, with the divine. And I look back to the Japji Sahib, the entire Japji Sahib to me is like there is the one thing that, if anything, that the Guru is asking of the divine is that may I always remember you. May I always see the one and all. This is really the essence of Gurbani, and everything flows from there. So in every being, in every behavior, let me see you in all. This is that eternal, that message that, we need to remember. What is it? If you break it down, what is it in 2 lines? What is Gurbani telling you? And that's what it's telling you. May you always remember the one, and may you see the one in all. So in every being, in every behavior, see the one in all, see that positive element in all. And Gurbani helps us through Shabad, helps us to see that. Because only when we can see the positive and the one and all, then that spirit of Chardi Kala flows. We keep using this word Chardi Kala, but where does the spirit, where does that flow from? Where does it come from? It comes from the belief there's one in all. So I want to digress a bit over here. Every Shabad has what we call, different types of interpretations. And when I was looking at the Shabad and working with the Shabad, that's actually Shabad works with me. And at the end, it was, and I looked at it, and it might be a bit of a stretch, but I want to share that. Because everything to me, it begins with the longing. Because if there's no longing, nothing can happen. So longing is that first step. And then when you long for something, you want to be part of an experience. What is it that you're longing for? And I looked at the lines of the doe, of the deer, and all I saw wasn't that, the contentment and the acceptance was there. And in that contentment and acceptance, possibility of meeting the divine is very much there. And then I looked at the stage of the koel, and it's that stage of the lover. To become a lover who wants to be with the beloved above all. And in that stage, when you become that lover, effortlessly you meet beloved, because your love is so strong. And then I looked at the fish, and this is that stage of when the ego vanishes, and one sees the one pervading all. And at that stage, also, you experience the one. And then the serpent, that is the stage of intoxication, where there's contentment, there is the lover in you, and you see the one in all. And that's the stage of intoxication, where everything is just dyed in that color. And you become totally carefree. And this is that stage where you evolve into that stage of that eternal bride, where you become part, your consciousness becomes part of a larger consciousness. The immersion, the acceptance, the surrender, everything is just total. It's complete. Hence, Sadha is that eternal. You are the eternal bride. From the stage of the lover, you've become the bride. What the Shabad says speaks to me. Do you have any thoughts, Manpreet?
Yeah, I mean, very powerful once again. When you were reading it, and I'm listening to you and I'm reading it online as well, for me, the main thing that the word that keeps shouting at me is harmony. And how do you find harmony with everything around you, no matter where you are and who you are and what situation you're in? How do you find to be, going back again, once again, to Ikonkar, how do you find that oneness in everything? And the metaphors of the animals that are in this Shabad, they're all in different situations, in different worlds, but they're finding harmony in their life with nature, really. So that's I've heard that concept many times, but it's very powerful. It's even more powerful reading the Shabad and listening to you recite it in the transcreation, because it just validates again that it's very important to have harmony around you, or your connection with the Nam, your connection with the Ikonkar will be non-existent if that doesn't happen as well. So it's great. That's how I read it, and that's what I get out of it.
The entire essence, like I had said before, of Bani is really, may I never forget you, and may I see the one and all. It's that simple. So how may I not forget you? Because may I always remember you, see you in everything. And look at it, even the animals, if you look at it in that light, everything is yearning for that union. Here we have the animals too. Think about it. That's just as it is that the Creator is part of the creation. The Creator is in the creation, and everything that is evolving and everything is in that tune. So the sound, the water flowing, the wind moving, everything is in hukam. This is where, for the analytical mind, this is difficult. But for the lover, or for the one who believes, or that the essence, that the one is in all and the one is pervading everywhere, this is very natural. So there is the analytical mind, and then there's a mind that has said, no, I believe. And that's why, nature, Bani, Gurus are so close to nature. There's so many Shabads with nature. It's to be in tune with that. It's just is a blessing. You can be in tune with the seasons. You can be even in tune with the days of the week, the months. Gurus have talked about that. Guru has spoken about that. It is making you aware of everything around you. It's that heightened awarenessness that you're not alone. You're part of something larger, and feel that connection. Don't be in isolation. You are part of something larger. So that's, for me, is that I am part.
Yeah, no matter how small you are, you're part of something. Don't ever forget that. Life lessons for anyone in any age, any struggle, anywhere they are. My parents always used to tell me, And people say it all the time too. Gurbani has all the answers. You have a question or a problem, Guru Granth Sahib will have all the answers. But this is how we get the answers out, doing things like this, where no matter where you are, what situation you're in, how big you are, how small you are, how income inequality, whatever's going on, you're part of something bigger, and so you could be one with the light. It has different meanings no matter what context you put it in. It could have different meanings for the person in their life. So it's once again, it's an amazing experience.
There is a webinar which we have on the Sikhi website as well, which has been done on the symbolisms of animals in the Guru Granth Sahib. So if someone wants to, explore that and delve deeper into that, I would highly recommend that they listen to that webinar, and they would be able to probably appreciate this Shabad and a lot of the Shabads that have the animal symbolisms, to a greater degree.
Oh yeah, that's great. I highly recommend that webinar. If anyone listening, please go to sikhi.org.
It's as you engage with Shabad, you get to experience it at multiple levels. I mean, when I had begun that, I didn't, the last part which I talked about, the longing, the contentment, the lover, seeing the one in all, and the intoxication, it wasn't that clear. But, I've been working with the Shabad, and it became a lot more clear to me. I could see that the stages, and maybe that's what I'm looking for right now at this point in my life. And it's whatever anybody is looking for at that point in their life. The Shabad speaks to that, and that's why Shabad's always new. It's always fresh, and there's always the answer there.
So true. Well, thank you for sharing this Shabad with us once again. Is there any last thoughts, anything you want to say before we let everybody go?
No, I think for me it is, certain words which come over and over again, and if we start try to get to a deeper understanding of those words, I think it would help in everyone, in people's spiritual journey. And I think for me it is the word Sada Sohagan is a very important word. Maybe because I'm a woman, and maybe, the culturally what Sohagan means. And for me, that word, whenever it appears in a Shabad, just has a very different connotation. And it's like, whoa, this is something I really need to focus on. And here, the Guru is saying it is to become that eternal bride, lover. It is when your light merges with the divine light, when you've gone through that, and that's the union which everybody, which the seekers seek. And to become a seeker, to become a lover, it's the journey. Those are my thoughts, Manpreet.
Thank you once again for sharing your thoughts, sharing this Shabad with us. Always a pleasure.
Thank you. Till next time.
Till next time.